Do y'all believe in ghosts? Hear me out. I'm not the most superstitious person. And if you do believe in ghosts, I'm not going to judge you. Because there are certain things that happen in this world that can't be explained. And the only logical explanation would be to say a spirit did it. Anyway, today we're going to react to a video of a young lady whose apartment was haunted. And after the story, I'm going to share with y'all my own experience. And y'all tell me if we were living with a ghost or if maybe I'm tripping.
Y'all, I moved into a haunted house. And to make it even worse, it was in the projects. So in like March or April of 2023, I moved into
a haunted house in the projects is crazy. I just want to throw that out there. Usually we hear about haunted houses, they in the hills, they in the suburbs, right? I don't think Jason or Michael Myers ever been to the hood.
A townhouse down the way on 33rd, y'all. So my first night in there, it was just me and my son. And my son, he keeps coming to my room telling me that somebody is coming up the stairs. Like, his room was the first room when you got to the top of the stairs. So, like, when you got up there, you turn right, it was his room, and in the middle was mine. He keeps coming in my room, like, the first night we in there, he like, yeah, Mommy, I think somebody is at the bottom of the stairs. I think, someone's coming up the stairs, or they're either, like, at the bottom of the stairs, but I keep hearing somebody on the stairs. So I just try to reassure my son, like, oh, you know what, maybe you just hearing, like, the house settle, or maybe you hearing the neighbors, because we do live in a townhouse. He would not go to bed. He just insisted that somebody was on the stairs. So I just let him sleep with me, and I closed my door and just went on about my night. So I just had took it, like, maybe he was just having a little bit of trouble adjusting to the new house, or, maybe he was just scared, or, him just being a kid. Y'all, after that, shit just started getting weirder. So this is like one night, a couple weeks later, I leave home, and I left my phone at home. And so my location is showing that I'm at home, but
My bad, I was trying not to stop it, but the fact that she said a townhouse, right? Because my story is about the last house that we lived, which was a townhouse. Wait till I get to my story, I'm sorry.
I'm not answering my phone or nothing like that. So my friends got worried, and they went to my house to look for me. Like, they go there, but once they get there, all the lights is off in the house, my car not outside or whatever. So they're like looking in the house. They're looking in the kitchen window. Y'all, they say as they looking in there, they can see somebody like walk from the kitchen into the living room, but they can only see like the bottom half of his body. They cannot see. They see it's a boy, and they say he had on like black sweatpants and with like a white line in the middle, and they say he had on like tennis shoes, but they could not see nothing above his torso. So they're like, oh, Jay dude must be over there or something, and she just maybe not accept the company or whatever, so they just brush it off and they leave. The next day I see them and I'm talking to them. They like, yeah, last night we came to your house. There was a dude walking around in your kitchen and we seen him. We just thought you ain't want to be bothered. And I'm like, no, nobody was in my house last night. I was gone. Like, my house was empty. So I don't, now at this point, I don't really know like what's going on or whatever. So after this, like, shit just kept happening. Like, weird shit just kept happening. So one night I drop my son off at my baby daddy's sister's house, and I leave him there, and I go home and I call my baby daddy. And he's like, as I'm talking to him or whatever, I tell him, like, mid-conversation, like, yeah, I dropped baby G off already, and he gone. And he like, well, if he gone, then who was that talking in the phone when I first got on the phone? Like, it was a little kid talking. I'm like, stop trying to scare me, because I'm at home by myself, whatever. He like, no, I'm not playing. I thought that, he was over there with you, because it was just a kid talking in the phone. So I'm like, you know what, maybe he was hearing the TV or whatever. I keep just trying to debunk everything myself. So y'all, I go to bed that night and I wake up the next morning, and I want to say it's like right before or as the sun is like, rising. So it's probably like 6 in the morning, and I wake up and I go to the bathroom. Now my room was in the middle, so I had to walk past my son's room to get to the bathroom. As I walk past his room, I hear like a little kid in there talking, like, making noise, like, just humming or whatever, like a little kid. So I'm sitting on the toilet or whatever, and I'm I'm still half asleep or whatever.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I would have moved out. I would have moved the fuck out. All right, keep it 100. We all adults here, okay? You ever had to turn the light off in the basement and walk up them stairs in the dark? How many of y'all run up them stairs? Keep it 1,000. Now, you don't have to full sprint. Some of y'all might jog up them stairs, but you still running.
So I'm in my head like, oh my God, I gotta try to, like, get him to lay back down, get him to go back to bed. whatever. He probably gonna be hungry. He gonna want me to go downstairs and make him some food. And it dawned on me, y'all, I dropped my son off last night. So I go in the room. I'm looking around in the room. Ain't nothing in there. The TV not on, nothing. But I know, as sure as my name is what it is, I just heard somebody in this room. So, you know, I just keep like rebuking whatever it is that's happening or whatever. And I'm really in my head, I'm trying to ignore it. So after that situation, another time I am going down the stairs. At this particular time, I was at home by myself with nobody in the house but me. And I was just, you know, like cleaning up, straightening up the house or whatever. So I'm going down the stairs. And, okay, I forgot to mention that I was pregnant. So I was probably like, I don't even know. I was probably like 7-8 months pregnant. I am walking down the stairs. And I feel 5 fingers and a hand in my back. And somebody pushed me off the stairs. Like I went flying upstairs. I went flying from maybe like the 4th, maybe like the 3rd or 4th step. So I hit the floor and I hurt like my ankle, I think. And so I'm at this point I just start praying and rebuking whatever it is that's in the house or whatever. And if the next day, like the very next day, I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs. My son is back home at this point. I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs and I'm waiting on my son to come downstairs and I'm ready for him to get dressed so we can go. And he gets to like the 3rd or 4th step and he flies off the stairs. Like, I'm standing there looking at him. He didn't, mess up his footing. He didn't misstep. He didn't trip. He flew off them stairs. Now, I cannot remember who I talked to after, I've seen this, after I'm witnessing all this. But I talked to somebody and it was a lady and she ended up telling me like, whatever is happening in your house, whoever is in your house, whatever spirit or whatever happened before you stayed there, it's centered around the steps in your house. Like, a lot of the activity was around the stairs, but, like, other stuff was always happening. Like, whenever I was on the phone with somebody, they always could say that they could hear, like, a baby crying or a little kid talking or, stuff like that. It was very weird. So now, y'all, it's summertime at this point. Like, we into the summer, so it's maybe, like, June. And I had my little sister over my house, and she had stayed there one night and babysat my son. So I had came home the next morning because I had been out all night. And I came home the next morning and I asked my son, like, who was over here last night? Trying to see if my sister had somebody in my house. So he's like, wasn't nobody over here last night, mommy. It was just me, Sheree, and Jawan. I said, who the fuck is Jawan? My son say, Jawan, my friend, he be over here at night. I was like... So I go and I'm...
Bro, that's what I be saying. That's what I was trying to say like a few minutes ago. The fact that she mentioned her son, right? So when I was thinking that our crib might have been haunted or somebody going around, it was an incident, just like over here. It was an incident where my son put a whole bunch of toys in the toilet and it clogged up the toilet. And I was upset. And at this time, he's like 4. I think he's like 3 because he wasn't talking yet. And I'm hot. I'm like, bro, why would you do that? Like, why would you put all the toys in the toilet? Like, why would... And he kept on, like, he was pointing. Like, it was like he was pointing to somebody.
I'm gonna ask my sister, like, who is Jawan? Like, who do you know that's named Jawan? He like, she like, I don't know nobody named Jawan. I'm like, you gotta know somebody named Jawan, cause baby G said you had somebody named Jawan over here, whatever. My sister is like, no, I didn't. I don't even know nobody named Jawan. Now, at this point, I'm thinking that she has coached my son into telling me that, like, Jawan is somebody, like, he done made up in his head or something. Because Jawan ain't no name that no 4-year-old gonna just come up with, The next day, we sit downstairs and...
Keep it 100, Jawan ain't no ghost name. Jawan sound like a YN. So, your house is haunted by a YN. That's crazy.
The mail come through the door. So, I told you I live down the way. So... When you live down the way, it's just a hole in the door that the mail come through. And we sit downstairs, and the mail come through the door, and it hit the floor. And I tell my sister, get in and tell me, like, who it's addressed to. Is it for me? If it's for me, open it. My sister say, no, this ain't for you. This ain't for nobody that live here. This for somebody named Jawan. Y'all, I moved into a haunted house.
Oh, damn.
And to make it...
All right. It started getting interesting, but... I'm gonna leave her link so y'all can go to her page. I think she might have a part 2, right? Anyway, here's my experience. We moved into that house. It was in Dunwoody. It was a townhouse. If you've been on the channel for a while, you remember when I used to have the punching bag. It was that house. Okay, the punching bag was in the basement. There's a few things that transpired when we got that house. One, the neighbors started treating us kind of, well, for me, I noticed the neighbors moved a little awkward. I used to throw it up to maybe because we're black. Because, you know, Dunwoody is old white money. It's black people out there, but Dunwoody is still old white money. So when we moved into that neighborhood, I just felt as though maybe it's because we were black, bro. But the weird thing is, our next door neighbor was black. Then it got to the point where I used to be in the house by myself, and I promise you, it felt like somebody else was in there with me. Hey, babe. Yeah? Come here right quick.
Yes.
Yo, you remember when we moved over there? That, like, we used to feel as though the house was haunted in Dunwoody?
At the townhouse?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used to make jokes about it, like, and be talking to the spirit and all that. But I ain't tell you this part. So I'm gonna tell you this, right? It was times, like, remember when Say Kim put the toys in the toilet?
Yeah.
And it clogged up? So, like, I was mad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him, and then it like he was pointing to somebody. Like, I'm like, well, why would you do that, bro? Like, what? And then he was just like,
So you think a ghost did it?
I don't think a ghost did it. At the time, Sekim wasn't talking, so like, I don't know. I didn't think about it back then. So it was that, right? Then I used to be in the basement recording my videos, and I promise you, it used to feel like somebody was down there with me. I promise you. It got to the point where I used to feel so uncomfortable. I went and researched, like, if somebody had died in the house, like, maybe, you know, somebody got killed in here, and it might have been on the news. I didn't find nothing, though. But then the last straw, and this is really why we moved. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, my God.
No. This is really why we moved. Well, one, she was getting on my nerves. She was getting on my nerves. But I had a dream, bro, that I went to work and I came home and both of y'all was dead.
What?
Yes, I had a dream that I went to work, I came home, and I had that dream for like months. I would just come home and you and say Kim was in the house. Dead.
And you never said anything until
Nah, I never said nothing about it.
Why not?
I don't know. I just didn't. It wasn't something that. How do I explain to somebody like, yo, I just had a dream that I keep on having dreams that I'll come home and y'all were dead.
I mean, I take what you say serious. You're very insightful. So
I get it. Like, I chalked it up to, alright, my YouTube is like getting popular, and
Oh, that's why you was big on the whole like come on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Type that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to move out here. So that's really what it was, bro. I kept on having dreams that I would come home and my family would be dead. It was like some Amityville horror shit. And I'm like, bro, why the fuck I keep having these dreams? Why is it when I'm in this basement, I feel as though somebody down here with me recording the videos?
Hey, well, if there was, I would say it's definitely probably they was on your side. All that dang Palo Santo that you burned. If they were unwelcome, they would have left.
I definitely was burning in Palo Santo heavy. I know a lot of y'all don't believe in this, but go ahead and be living in a situation where you think you living with spirits and demons and tell me better. It was something else that happened, man. I'm trying to figure out what it was. Besides the dreams, something else transpired. And I was like, yeah, we gotta go. We gotta get the hell on.
Oh, shit. With this deja vu, we might need to cleanse the house.
I forgot what it was. Something else transpired. And I was like, yeah, we gotta. Come here, baby. Can you want to say hi?
Come here.
Why? I'm in my drawers.
And I'm in my old woman ass.
Don't nobody.
Yeah.
They can't see you. Babe, you serious right now?
That is. I do not want to be portrayed in a bad light on.
Nobody gonna portray you in a bad light. Hey, pretty lady. Say hi. Say hi, pretty lady. I get a smile? I want to smile before I leave. Before we turn the camera off, let me get a smile. Can I get a smile? No?
I
No
was
smile?
having girl time with mommy, and then you interrupted
Alright,
her.
you was having girl time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right, you want to come back? Yes, she's smiling. Yes, come back.
Oh, you smiling back? Alright, fine then.
Come on, Buka, let's go.
Alright, so that's the end of the video, y'all. Yes. Now, I'm Caribbean, so in the Caribbean, we have stories about Anansi and Laja Bless. And Laja Bless is like the demon that tricks men. You know, so I grew up in a superstitious culture. And I'm not that superstitious, but I promise y'all, if y'all felt how I was feeling in that house, y'all would have moved too. y'all would have moved too. You know, so my landlord was getting on my nerves. That was one thing. But two, one of the deciding factors for me to move was those dreams that I was having. And those dreams I kept on feeling as though, bro, it's either somebody you're going to do, and with those dreams I kept on feeling as though, if I don't move, it's either somebody's going to do something to my family, or like, because you know the Amityville horror where the dad killed the whole family. I didn't see that movie till after we moved. That's another thing, bro. I didn't see that movie till after we moved. And all that shit kept on making sense. I'm like, bro, I wonder if like the spirit was trying to like get inside of me and cause me to do some heinous things. Anyway, that's the story. That's the end of the video. That's it.